Hi, this is PR Sundar. Welcome to this special episode where I'm going to talk about Indians' favorite commodity, gold. So the people ask me, is it right time to invest in gold? In fact, a few days before in my Twitter, I just said, is it right time to short the gold? And the people are wondering why Mr. Sundar is talking about shorting of gold all of a sudden. Listen to the whole story, but I'm not bullish about gold for the next few years. First thing is that, the gold price in India is determined by three factors. Number one, the international price of the gold. And number two, the currency exchange rate between US dollar and Indian rupee. And number three, local taxation. So the gold price is affected by these three factors. So we will talk one by one. And first we will talk about the international price. If you look historically, I think the UK government used to decide the price of the gold. So the gold price was fixed in the international markets for many centuries. I think only in 1973 or 74, they've allowed the market forces to determine the prices. So therefore, if you want to look at the chart and other things, it's available only from 1973-74, not before that. So if you look at the last, about 45-year history, there were only two times the gold spiked. And one around 1980, when there was a Iran oil crisis that affected the whole world. So I think I've spoken already in one of my earlier videos. Iran was seized by the revolutionist Abdullah Khomeini, and then they stopped supply of crude oil to other regions of the world. So because of that, there was a bigger crude crisis, oil crisis. So you go to 1980 oil crisis, you will know the data. And then after that, in 2008, when the Lehman Brothers collapsed, the entire world economy crumbled. So the gold prices shot up. But in 2020, when coronavirus is affected the entire world market crashed. So the world was looking as if it's going to come to an end. I expected gold price to shoot up, but it did not shoot up. Basically, what happens as and when there is a very big crisis, the gold prices will shoot up. That's what happened in 1980. That's what happened in 2008, but that did not happen in 2020. So what is the difference? Why that did not happen? Even many people, even including Bank of America, I challenged them. They said that gold will go to $3,000 per ounce, but I said it will not go. So why? There is a major shift. And before that, I'll tell you a small story. The animals are divided into two parts. One is cold-blooded animal. Another one is hot-blooded animal. We are all hot-blooded animal. But there are some animals like a frog, which is a cold-blooded animal. So let me not go into the detailed science explanation, but let me make it as a small story. Assume that I have got two stove and big vessel is put in both the stove and the water is put. Okay, now the stove is off and both the vessels, water is cold. So in one vessel, I put a man, and another vessel, I put a frog. And water is cold, both will be enjoying the life like anything. So that's fine. So cold-blooded, hot-blooded, both will be enjoying the life when they are put into the vessel of cold water. Let us say I put another two stove and put hot water in both the stove. I put one man inside and one frog inside, because like man cannot take the hotness, frog also cannot take hotness, both of them will jump out. So whether I put a man and frog in a cold water or a man and frog in a hot water, they both will behave the same way. But when they will behave differently, I will tell you now. You put two vessels, one man, one frog in a cold water, then start slowly heating. So the cold water become slowly warm water, man will still be enjoying. But when the heat keeps on increasing, so at some point of time, he will feel, it's getting too hot, he will jump out. But I will tell you, the frog will never realize that the heat is keep on increasing. So it will never try to jump, it will die. This is just to give you an example how a cold-blooded animal and a hot-blooded animal will behave. Why I'm saying this story, sometimes, people who are involved in the thing too much, they will never realize there is some change is happening. Okay, here man realizes that there is some change is happening, that cold water is getting into hot water, but the frog never realized. That is why most of the people, traditional people like including Bank of America, they said that gold prices will go up. Now I'll come back to the story of gold. Okay, I'm just giving you one example. Let us say you are holding Indian currency. Assume that there is talk of a war with another country. That means war comes, it's going to be very, very bad for the country. Economy will collapse. So what will happen? Our currency will depreciate. If $1 is 80 rupees, that $1 will go to 100 rupees or 150 rupees or even 200 rupees. But how can you hedge against this? So what the people will do, because the gold is always traded at international prices of gold, what the people will do, they will convert the currency into gold. And then what will happen? As and when there is a war comes, a bigger problem comes, rupee depreciates from 80 to 100 or 150. Okay, they will sell the gold because the gold price will shoot up, because the gold price is always traded in US dollar. This is the reason why the people buy the gold during the crisis time, and this is the reason why gold prices shoot up during the crisis. That's what has happened in 1980. That's what happened in 2008. But why that did not happen in 2020? Because until 2008, there was no such thing called cryptocurrency. Now what has happened? There is something called cryptocurrency. And now what people are doing, instead of putting the money in gold, they convert their local currency into cryptocurrency. When I say crypto, I'm not talking about Bitcoin or Ethereum. I'm talking about the stable coins like USD, USDT, something like that. So what happens? So that money is like 1 USDT is always equivalent to $1. So it is as good as you are putting the money in US dollar. Then your own currency depreciates, no issue, because your money is in US dollar. Anytime you can convert that back into your local currency, you are safe. So until 2008, to hedge against the currency depreciation, there was only one thing available, that was gold or maybe silver. But now there is another one available, crypto, even with a better, because some cryptos, they are giving you some interest also. They are giving interest as high as 12%. Of course, there are some problems. World has gone into bankruptcy. There are few other also gone into bankruptcy, but many others are doing well. That's a risk that they are taking. What happened in the February when the war broke out between Russia and Ukraine, and people thought, the gold prices will shoot up. But what happened? What I heard unofficially, most of the people in Russia and Ukraine, and also recently there was a big problem in one of our neighboring countries. All those politicians, bureaucrats and all the entrepreneurs, what they started doing, instead of putting the money in gold, so they started putting money in crypto, stable coin. I'm talking about stable coin. That is why the demand never increased for gold. And then, somehow people thought, some international watchdog, they thought that, so these people, from Pakistan, Ukraine, Russia, they're all using Dubai as a route. So that's why the international watchdog has put Dubai under a grey list, which means, so the international watchdog says that, Dubai is not taking enough measures to control the black money. Now Dubai has become very, very, very strict. That's a different story. So earlier, the only way to protect your currency depreciation was to invest in gold. But now you have an alternate, which is crypto, stablecoin crypto. That is the reason why the gold prices did not go up. So this is one story about the gold price. Second one, coming back to currency depreciation. If you see, our currency did not depreciate much. And in fact, our currency depreciated only against the US dollar, not against any other currency. But again, the problem is that, gold is traded in US dollar only. If you look at our currency pattern, in 2013, there was a taper tantrum. So that time our currency depreciated so fast, and the government of India had to take a lot of measures to control. So the depreciation was very fast. But then from 2013 to 2021, our currency was more or less stable. It was trading between 70 and 75. In fact, between 2014 and 2021, Indian currency was the strongest currency among Asian currencies. But now what has happened, this US inflation and other things have created hell lot of problem, and our currency depreciated very fast from 72 to 80, about 10%. And if the same pattern has to repeat, That means our currency can be very, very strong for the next 8 to 10 years. So one thing, internationally gold prices is not going to appreciate so much because there is a need to hedge. People have some other alternate. Number two, Indian currency is not likely to depreciate at this rate. Indian currency is likely to be good for the next 8 to 10 years. And of course, the third one is a taxation. Of course, the Indian gold tax is already very high. And the higher the taxation, higher will be the smuggling. So already there is a lot of smuggling happening. So that's why recently, I think about a few months before, they reduced some tax in gold. Beyond a certain limit, if they increase the tax, the gold smuggling will thrive. So already we are at a threshold level. So I don't think that during next 8-10 years, the gold tax can go up. So gold tax cannot go up and currency is not likely to depreciate over the next 8 to 10 years. And then the gold price in international market also is not going to go up. It does not make sense to invest in gold for a longer time frame. That is why I came out with the idea. If you still want to invest in gold, and I came out with a video where I suggested you can do the hedging and you can make some money out of it. So hope you enjoyed watching this video. Thank you for watching.